Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Proud to live in the greatest country in the world. Unfiltered opinions, no PC discussion here. Agree, disagree, hate it, love it, it's all good. Sit back and enjoy some unfiltered commentary, discussions on politics, culture, interviews, and more. And as always, your comments are more than welcome. Please hit that subscribe button to help get the conservative message out. Long-term exposure to progressivism can cause irreversible brain damage. If symptoms persist, please seek help from a mental health professional immediately. The following content may trigger progressives. This is your trigger warning alert. Hi, folks. Welcome back to Crisco's Corner. Chris Evans, Zach Braff. We'll never forget Trump enablers. The actor's tweets received mixed reactions. I imagine it would. Chris Evans, Zach Braff aren't forgetting those who enable President Trump. F45 tweeted November 18th that he would never forget all those enablers, and Evans 39 followed up the next day with a tweet of his own, hashtag remember who said nothing. The memorandum from the Scrub Star and Captain America franchise performer came on the heels of ongoing speculation from GOP voters that Trump had lost the 2020 presidential election due to alleged voter fraud. There's just too many anomalies. It's just too many. I'm sorry. There's knowing and then there's proving. There's just too many anomalies. And I've gone through them in other episodes rather than hash it all over again. It's like what I said. There's knowing and proving. Ask O.J. Simpson. Many on social media sided with the stars. Well, of course. While there are others who also hit back at Braff and Evans, on one Twitter user responding to Braff, never forget you're just an actor. Yeah. Another social media user chimed, whoa, I had forgotten about you. Thanks for popping in before you get canceled, though. It's only a matter of time. Best of luck. Other Twitter users found it difficult to decipher what Evans was referring to with the vagueness of his tweet. What's this about? Inquired one responder. I love a good mystery, but that's a tough week. Additionally, a separate Twitter user said they were shaking their head at all the retweets and likes of people who don't know what it's for. SMH, don't know what that means. Another user attempted to get to the bottom of Evans' tweet as well. It's either specifically about politicians in the GOP who do not stand up against Trump, or the broader concept of people who don't speak out against evil doing but then claim themselves as good people because they weren't the ones who actually said or did the evil thing, suggested the Twitter user. Evans and Braff aren't on an island in the public apparent disapproval of Trump supporters, who in the actor's estimation have remained silent or enabled the president. Enable them to do what? Follow the law? Yeah. Trump's a pompous ass. And I'm a Trump supporter. Still am to this day. Always will be. Yeah, he's a pompous ass. It's just his personality, and it's just the way it is. And Biden is the cooperative extension agent from Green Acres. I was on a radio interview today, and the announcer said he's more like the skipper in Gilligan's Island. I mean, and he's actually a hardcore Dem. So, come on. It's just the way Trump is. Policy. That's all people should care about. Policy. That's like the person that I like a football team because I like their uniforms. It just makes no sense, but people do what they do. On the other hand, comedian Whitney Cummings. Now, I'm not familiar with her, but if what she's saying in here is accurate, I am going to look her up. Told the Daily Beast that she was over the practice of maligning those who disagree with her political stances and was looking to move forward with healing and unity. Now, I'll take that from her. I'm fascinated by playing devil's advocate and want to understand the people I disagree with. I don't want to dismiss and malign, Cummings told the outlet earlier this month. I don't think it's very righteous or sanctimonious to just dismiss people we disagree with without trying to understand why they believe what they believe. Added the funny woman, I don't get it. I grew up in Washington, D.C. mostly, but also in Virginia and West Virginia. So I grew up seeing both sides and people believing different things. Even though I don't agree with somebody, I don't think they're dumb. I'm a comedian who tours all over the country. I see why people make the decision they make. And as a writer, You have to be able to do that. Bill Maher also echoed a similar sentiment and rejected calls to denounce Trump supporters. You know, I'm so disappointed in Bill Maher the last few years. He used to be so funny. You complete me doesn't mean because we're exactly alike. It means because we are different. I don't want to live in a country without the red states. Yeah, you just want to know enough red states so they can never win the presidency so you can say this country is fair. I think he's being disingenuous, and that's being kind. He recently said in the HBO program Real Time, I like traveling there. When people talk to you in Oklahoma, they're not scanning the room to see if there's somebody more important because, frankly, when I'm there never is. Yeah, you're an ass. Well, Chris, Zach, I'll tell you this. I used to enjoy some of the Captain America movies, but not anymore. And I'm not going to encourage anybody not to watch them. That's their personal choice. I don't do what the leftists do. I don't cancel people. But Chris and Zach, we won't forget either. We won't forget you, and we won't forget all the things that happened in this election cycle. All the anomalies, all the oddities. One hasn't happened, only happened once with presidential elections since 1852, 8 years before the Civil War. How Biden won over 260 less counties than Barack Obama in 2008, with enthusiasm level for Obama was off the charts, and still managed to get more votes than Obama. These things just don't add up. They just don't. How does that go? There's some unrefrigerated fish here. Are we ever going to find out? No. People are going to believe what they want to believe. But the anomalies are piling up by the day. I read one the other day where I believe there was over 20,000 ballots. I think it might have been Philadelphia, but I'm not sure. They were all in pristine condition. And you're wondering, well, that's okay. The person's just really neat when they filled it out. No, what I mean by pristine is they weren't folded. How do you get them in the ballot envelope to give to the Board of Elections if they're not folded, which is required by law in the envelope they provide? How do you do that? Things they make you go, So you know what, Chris? You know what, Zach? We're not going to forget either. And those of you out there that don't like Donald Trump, I get it. But this whole thing is not about Donald Trump. It's not. This thing is about the future and the integrity of our electoral process and our Constitution. The end does not justify the means. And by the way, the Constitution doesn't have a little asterisk when you want it to that says this only applies when things are good and there's not a crisis. No, it applies every day, 24/7. Always has, always will. And it's being misused and twisted and stamped on now. So you know what, Chris and Zach? We won't forget either. And 2 years isn't that long. It's not. And the Democrats, the funny part is these guys are jumping up in joy, dropping down with joy. They didn't win, they lost. They just don't know it yet. And eventually it's going to sink in. And people are going to have some serious buyer's remorse. And I don't mean just with Biden. It's going to be a bloodbath. But one good thing will come out of it. This will be Nancy Pelosi's last 2 years as Speaker of the House. I guess we can rejoice over that. And I'm telling you, folks, if things work out in Georgia in January, the firewall will have kept up. And the founding fathers and the system they set up with the checks and the balances and the firewalls to stop the whole place from burning down held over 200, almost 250 years later. Brilliant men, and we were lucky to have them at the time that we did in the founding of our country, because they use one simple premise, the premise that holds true today, whether it's in the 1780s when the Constitution was ratified and it holds today in 2020. People suck, me included. I like to think that I'm on the end that sucks a little, but people will always do the wrong thing given a chance. And checks and balances keeps that in check. And that is human nature, and that will never, ever, ever change. And until next time, folks, Goodbye and good luck.